I think it's fully justified to view Prime Minister Takaichi as a violator of all these important international and bilateral commitments. And she wants to bring Japan back onto the fascist and militarist pathway, which has caused a tremendous amount of scourge and calamities to many countries in this part of the world. And I would say, historically speaking, what Prime Minister Takaichi has been doing over the past several days is a continuation of decades of political wrongdoings she has been involved in before she became the Prime Minister. So there is a pattern, but the difference this time is even more appalling because she is the sitting Prime Minister of Japan. And she made all these pronouncements in her official capacity. I would say there has been no Japanese prime minister since 1945 who went to such lengths to deny the validity of the Japanese unconditional surrender instruments, to deny the Japanese constitution, and to threaten to violate the provisions in the Japanese constitution, and to really cause a major military threat to China, to whom Japan unconditionally surrendered in 1945. Therefore, I don't think there is any whitewashing of what Prime Minister Takaichi had said over the past several days, and China really need to put maximum pressure upon Prime Minister Takaichi, and she need to promise never to violate the Japanese constitution again. And she need to promise never to violate the unconditional surrender terms Japan entered into in 1945 with China. And she need to promise that Japan will continue to treasure peace and stability rather than going back onto the fascist warmongering pathway. And she also need to promise on behalf of the Japanese government that Japan will never engage in production of weapons of mass destruction, especially nuclear weapons, because all these things, if not stopped, will trigger real war. I think the Chinese government, either the foreign ministry or the defense ministry or the Chinese embassy in Japan, or quite a few other related entities, have made absolutely the right decision and made the right representations to Japan. And I think it also indicates China's absolute resolve and determination and commitment to defend China as a nation, defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity, and to refuse any foreign interference in the cross-strait relations, which is absolutely an internal affairs of China. However, I don't believe she represents the majority of the people in Japan. Based on my decades of interaction with Japanese friends, business people, government representatives of all kinds, I still believe in Japan there is a strong tendency to embrace the provisions of the Japanese constitution. I hope the Japanese people will never test a war, never use war as another instrument in dealing with its neighboring countries, especially with my country, China.